What is up, Strong Style fans? We are back with another live episode of Strong Style here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha here, one of your co-hosts for the show, joined as always by my brother there in Orlando. It's Royal Rumble Eve. Aaron Turner, how are you feeling?
It's not Eve, it's the day of.
Day of, right? I keep forgetting. It's
Saturday Royal Rumble.
Good
yeah.
night.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little tired. Last night I was hanging out with this guy you may know. His name's Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Big Sexy last night. Went on a big fig hunt last night too. So, John, if I can, let me just show a couple things real quick. I got They Live.
Oh,
John,
nice.
Roddy Piper.
Nice.
Of course, I got to pick this up.
Oh, yeah, Peacemaker.
John Cena.
That's right now.
And, of course, with wrestling, of course, I had to, well by God, that's got to be Kane. That's ultimate Kane.
That match
for the Rumble.
And then a classic, the Quake.
Oh,
Quake.
Yes.
So yeah, massive fig hunt yesterday, a big day for me.
Nice,
so.
nice. No typhoon, huh? All right, fine. We'll take
no typhoon in this series. Just the Quake.
And joining us going forward now officially in our new start time with our third man, it is Chris Burns, the Dark Attack. How are you, man? You're in St. Louis. You're going to the Rumble tonight. How are you feeling today, man?
It's the most Rumbleful time of the year. I'm feeling great, man. I am still sober, which is a problem, but that's okay. We're going to take care of that in a few hours. Royal Rumble, my favorite time of the year. Probably always my favorite pay-per-view over Mania, if I have to be honest.
Wow.
That's fair.
Okay.
Built-in drama, the countdown, the not knowing what's going to happen. It's a whole thing. But yes, I am here. I was at the Rumble the last time. It was in front of fans, and so I had to make it happen for this one as well.
Nice.
And I got a big, important decision to make, and I need you guys' help.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What do we got?
I brought 2 tees. That's the gimmick here on Strong Style.
That's right.
2 vintage tees. My
Ooh.
2 favorite Royal Rumble performers of all time. Okay. I need to know what shirt I'm wearing to the show tonight.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Okay.
So I'm already wearing the first one. This is the Shawn Michaels.
Oh, wow.
Big face tee.
I've never even seen that tee before.
I honestly thought that might have been Vigo the Carpathian.
All right. So that's one.
I love that tee. Jesus.
Or do I wear the exclusive only given to the staff that was working Raw that night when Austin was feuding with the Brothers of Destruction? The Austin 666.
I'm going to go HBK, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it's a black shirt. People get crazy at the Royal Rumble. Shit could spill on you.
Yeah, it's true.
And you could hide it better on a black shirt. If that white shirt gets stained, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I think I have to go with that too. Also because, that's just such a unique and iconic shirt that you're wearing, and it tells people, hey, stay the fuck away from me with your drinks and your cheese sauce and all this shit. So, I get it. But the Austin 666, my God, I've never even seen that shirt. That's awesome. Incredible, dude.
Hey, man. Well, I got the poll up on my Instagram at Chris_. Please let me know, fans, what you think I should wear tonight. Whatever it is you decide, that's what I'm going to be on my body. So let's get into it.
Boom. Let's get into it. All right, as we go along here, Aaron's going to drop all the stuff we're going to be talking about because we're jumping into some stuff with AEW stuff. We're going to obviously preview and predict what we think is going to happen at the Royal Rumble a little bit later on in the show. We're going to jump into some news about Triple H and NXT, jump into some news about WWE expanding their brand to other countries and going into deals with companies that you would have normally not believed WWE would ever be in a partnership with going forward. So we will talk about all of that here on the show. And just a reminder, Streamlabs and Superchats are open. Hey, it's early morning for those of us on the West Coast. For some of y'all been up for a while. So if you've been up for a while, you're awake. So send in some support, send in some love to us. Streamlabs address right above Aaron's head. It's also in this description of the video, and I'm going to pin it in the chat in just a second. So let's get it going, Aaron. What do we got?
All right, we're leading off today with Triple H, the story. We haven't heard from Triple H in a while.
Yeah.
And reports are starting to come out that Triple H is not expected to return to running NXT, which was obviously his previous gig. And HBK currently in control, Shawn Michaels. So if you guys recall, Triple H suffered a cardiac event back in September and has not returned to his duties as head of NXT. In his stead, Shawn Michaels has been in charge of the rebrand. Meltzer, take that with a grain of salt, is reporting that due to that event, Triple H is not expected to return. Worth noting that much of Triple H's handprints on NXT have been removed from William Regal to most of the wrestlers that he brought in. Most of them are not there anymore. Officials are reportedly happy with the job that Shawn Michaels has done in Triple H's absence, which is contrary to the reports that started kind of trickling out last week that the company was not exactly thrilled about NXT 2.0 so far. So, guys, give me your thoughts on what you think of NXT 2.0. What do you think of Triple H kind of being booted out? What do you think?
Yeah. What do you got, Chris? I'll turn it to you, man. You sometimes have your ear to the ground of what's going on behind the scenes here. Does this feel like a PR move to counter these accusations that WWE is not happy with NXT 2.0? Is this once again them saving Shawn Michaels from himself by saying how happy they are about this when the fans, for the most part, are not happy with NXT 2.0? What do you think is happening here?
I think it just goes back to Vince McMahon's strange relationship with Shawn Michaels. I mean, over the years, he's done everything he can not to bury Shawn, no matter what happens. I think that, you know, he's very loyal to him based on his part in the Montreal Screwjob in 96. And, you know, the stories are endless of Shawn being a complete jackass, you know, during his run as champion and before that. And Vince never really given him any repercussions for it. So I think that's that part of it, saying that, oh, we're really pleased with HBK's job so far. But also, what can Shawn really do? I mean, his legs are being cut out from under him at every stage in the game. Okay, we're going to take away your staff. We're going to take away the wrestlers who built the brand. We're going to take the one guy who's worth a damn on camera shit on the past. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's WWE's thing of always needing a scapegoat when something isn't going the way they want to. You know, they had hired Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff to run the two brands. And then when that didn't turn the product around, they had fired those guys. Back in the day, they had fired John Laurinaitis for the same thing, brought him back later. So there's always someone to blame, but I just don't think that they would ever publicly say anything bad about Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, it's really quizzical to me because, I mean, this idea that Triple H, I mean, first of all, Triple H is, you know, he's pumped up over the last few years as, you know, Vince's son-in-law and marrying Stephanie and took all the drama and he worked harder. He was there. You know, he got to the meetings at 5 a.m. in the morning. He sat and stayed later than everybody else. He showed his commitment to the WWE. Then he has this incident and the WWE wants to take the brand in a new direction. And they've absolutely taken a lot of what made NXT so great during the height of it under Triple H's rule here. They've taken it away from him. Now you slide in Shawn Michaels. I'm sure Shawn's not in here trying to undercut, you know, Triple H. I'm sure he's in there working him, but he's got a job to do. And so they've kind of put him on the firing line, so to speak, for all of this. And it's just so weird to me because we've heard nothing publicly from Triple H. He must have some feelings about this. He's not a quiet guy. He's not a guy who doesn't have strong feelings about things. So it seems weird that they're kind of moving him out a little bit from power. And I wonder if this is a little bit of Vince jealousy, like Vince really being threatened and upset that other people were trying to give Triple H all kinds of credit and saying he should take over all the main brands at the height of the NXT run here. I wonder if this is Vince's way of kind of like slapping him back and showing him who the hell is boss. What do you think, Eric?
I think that's part of it. I think for the longest time, there was like this run of NXT where it was like you would have SummerSlam weekend, you'd have TakeOver the Saturday before SummerSlam or something, and nobody would be talking about SummerSlam coming out of the weekend. They talk about TakeOver. And I think that just got to a point where Vince was like, why the hell are we, you know, allowing this third brand to take over Raw and SmackDown? Like, what's going on? And I think you're right in that sense. They had to cut it back a little bit because it's like, you know, NXT doesn't, like, it's a touring brand. It was a touring brand at the time, but they only did the local Florida loop unless they were doing a takeover. And the Full Sail wasn't like you would pay $10 to $20 to go to a show NXT at Full Sail. And they would donate a big chunk of that to Full Sail. So it's not like they were making like a big profitable businesses there. Right. And now NXT is free. You can go for free. So that's probably part of it too, as a, you know, budget cut, cost cutting measure. But it really does feel like they're just, you know, they're done with Triple H. They're done with this era. They want him to come back and go to his more corporate role of doing things and let Shawn Michaels stay with the company as he can. Like, I mean, Scott Taylor, Scotty Too Hotty was a guy that was with the company for a long time. And he's like I'm out. I quit. He quit before they could fire him. So, you know, when people around you are just following like crazy, following like dominoes, like I don't know how. If there's anyone like I think we thought for the longest time, like with all these releases, like they'll never get rid of Bray Wyatt. They got rid of him. They got rid of all these people we never thought they would get rid of. Oh, they'll never get rid of William Regal. Gone. Oh, they'll keep Samoa Joe around. Got rid of him twice. So it's like you come here and you see this, but Shawn Michaels is the one guy I think, other than probably Triple H, that is absolute Teflon. Like they'll never fire Shawn Michaels. He's done so much for that company that they'll never fire him. So NXT to me is dead. NXT 2.0 is not good. It's a free show that I could go to with ease. It's like 30 minutes from my house, and I will not go because I do not care.
Wow.
So that's where I'm at with NXT, and I think it's done. I really think it's done.
Well, I'll bring up a couple of comments here and get you guys' thoughts on this. Clarissa says, I gave NXT 2.0 the first episode and the not takeover show. I'm okay with change, but they didn't even try to ease us into it. They threw 30 new talents at us and turned the color dial up to 1,000. Now, how much of this do you think was Shawn Michaels doing, and how much of this was the overall people in charge of the WWE's doing?
Oh, I don't think it had very much to do with Shawn whatsoever. I think that, you know, if you look at Shawn's history with his thoughts and views on wrestling, it's always been more provocative, more real. He's kind of, in a way, the architect of the Attitude Era. The story goes that he did that crazy unscripted promo on Raw that one time, and then Vince chewed him out, and then as soon as he left the room, he was like, that's what we need. What he just did. We need attitude. We need attitude. And so this whole colorful, you know, Rainbow Coalition thing going on and that they got in NXT, and I just don't see that being Shawn's vision, really. It reeks of like Vince and Bruce Pritchard and those kind of guys that are like, we need youth, we need big bulging monsters like Braun Breaker. You know what I mean? Like that's their whole stilo all day.
Yeah. What do you say there, Aaron?
I mean, let's look at the pillars of what NXT used to be, like the core pillars of that brand. It was like the 4 horsewomen. I mean, look at what they've done. I mean, it's pretty much, you know, self-explanatory there. And you had guys like Ciampa, Gargano, Adam Cole for the longest time, and you had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville or Pac and all and Finn Balor and Hideo Itami and like these fucking amazing talents. Yeah. And now it's like, and no offense to these guys because they really haven't been given a chance. NXT 2.0 does have good talent.
Yes,
some. I will not say that it's all bad, but you've got guys now. It's like Carmelo Hayes, which I love. I think Carmelo Hayes is great. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Braun Breaker, who I also think is great. I think he's like trajectory to the moon. But then you've got guys like Grayson Waller and Tony D'Angelo. And then we start going down a hill fast. So it's kind of like they just don't have those same building blocks that they had. I mean, like you could just go a litany of NXT names. Like I didn't even mention Andrade, Aleister Black. Like I didn't mention any of these people. You know, Io, Kairi Sane, Shayna Baszler, Ember Moon, like all these amazing talents that came from NXT. And Seth Rollins, how dare I? Big E. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, I guess you could say Roman Reigns, but he wasn't.
Sami Zayn.
To me, Roman Reigns wasn't in NXT proper, and neither was Dean Ambrose. But like, it just feels so different and wrong. And she's right. Like a million things were thrown at us at once. It was like, here's this Tony D'Angelo guy who is like, yeah, it's funny, like that he does like the hey gabagool gimmick. It's funny, but it's like it's not what I want. It's
ECW all over again, doing that kind of stuff. And
it's awful.
We've kind of moved on from that. Haskell brings up an interesting point. I'm going to bring this up. I don't know much about this, but I'm going to bring this up. He said, did Hunter maybe cheat on Stephanie? And this is Vince's way of penalizing him. Rumors a few months back was Triple H, Steph were having issues and they're working it out. But Vince maybe wants him to pay. I don't know if that's true or not. But I mean, I wouldn't put it past Vince to be that petty. But business is always what matters above all the personal stuff. So any truth to that? Did you guys hear any of this in the wind in the past?
I've never caught wind of anything like this. I mean, and look, if Vince was so like high and mighty about infidelity, you can dig up some interesting stories about Triple H's time with China and Stephanie that Vince McMahon kind of swept under the rug at the time. I don't really see that as a thing.
Okay, fair enough.
I love you, Haskell, but I think that's a hell of a reach.
Fair enough. All right, anything more to say on this? What do you anticipate going forward? Do you think they'll use Shawn as the fall guy if this doesn't work out and just move him back to the main brand or back to, I don't know, behind the scenes? Is that what you guys anticipate if it doesn't work out?
I personally don't expect NXT to get renewed by USA Network because I mean, the reports, of course, so take this with a grain of salt, but it's like when they brought NXT to the USA Network, they were bringing them, Adam Cole. They were bringing them the whole Undisputed Era. They were bringing them this big show that's like, wow, this thing's taken out, like just popular as the main WWE. Oh my God.
Yep.
And now they've given them, no offense, they've given them like minor league baseball. It's like, here's this. And I think USA is just like, you know what? This isn't what we paid for. This isn't worth a primetime slot on our network.
Right.
We can play reruns of Chris Lee Knows Best and get just as big a ratings for NXT. And I really think, depending on what happens with Peacock, like I could see NXT going back to Peacock or like a network exclusive show.
Yeah. What do you think there, Chris?
I totally agree with Aaron. Look, I mean, Shawn is always going to be all right. Look, he gave his left eye for the company. And so they're never, like he said before, they're never ever going to get rid of him. So he'll always be safe. But as far as what they're going to do with the NXT brand, that might go back to the way of like FCW and just really be like a super local developmental thing. And then, it becomes like a Peacock exclusive if you really want it like that. Or they'll do what they always do and shut it down and then start another developmental brand as though they didn't have one for years and years and years.
Exactly.
All right. Fair enough. What happens to this guy? Where does this guy go after all of this? Do you think they're going to hand him a bigger piece of the pie, or do you think he's done overall there for now, having any kind of real strong influence over the direction of the brand?
It's just going to take time. Just going to take time. They think about all the legends that they've like gotten rid of and then showed up back later. Like they had a huge problem with Jarrett. Jarrett came back as a producer. They had a huge problem with the Warrior. Warrior came back. Jerry Lawler, he's back. Triple H will be back.
Okay. All right. Aaron, you think the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, Triple H was even seen like touring their new WWE offices with WWE officials. So that's not going away. I think he's just going to like go back into his corporate WWE structure job. I don't think we're going to see him back with NXT.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we got one quick super chat here. Ladies and gentlemen, keep sending them in as we go along. We got 65 of you watching this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Efren Guzman. Good to see Efren. He says, do you prefer Tony Khan buying themes for the wrestlers or themes being created? And what are your guys' top 3 themes music of all time? Look, Efren, I'm not going to give you that for $5. Sorry, no. Top 3 themes of all time between the 3 of us. That's 9 themes for $5. No, you're not going to get that. You will answer the question and we'll each give you, maybe we'll give you one theme that we like. Go ahead. What do you guys think? Do you like Tony Khan buying the themes or the themes being created?
I think it depends on the guy. Like CM Punk, like of course, like how could you not have cult of personality when it's such a part of him? Like I said, I think it depends on the guy. Like, so when I was watching Dynamite, MJF came out and his music hit. I had no idea. Like, I'm just not. It takes time. Like, I'm not accustomed to the AEW themes yet. Like some, like Cody's, because he's had that for a long time, and the Young Bucks have had that for a long time, and Kenny. Right. But it's like I'm not accustomed to hearing that. So when the music hits, I was like, I didn't know who that was immediately. So like a lot of people were popping, but like me, I didn't get it. So I prefer if you can get the themes that make sense for a guy, I'm fine with that. But like generic, stupid music, I don't like. I think that in terms of like my favorite stuff, someone mentioned it in the chat, like Jake Roberts' old theme.
Okay.
Or like the Ultimate Warrior, like the dun, 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 like, oh my God, that was electric. And like, I mean, Hulk Hogan, Real American, like, you know,
I just told you to give him 1. Now you gave him 3. You gave it to him for cheap. What the hell?
Well, hold on. He put in another.
Brian Brawler came in and said, "Is this enough, Rocha?"
There you go.
Dude, there it is.
There you go. So, I mean, I could give you 20 theme songs that I love. Honestly, one of my favorite themes that is like low key like underrated theme.
Okay.
Is the original Kane, or not the original, the Finger 11 Kane theme.
Oh, nice.
The Rock version of Kane's theme. I think it fucking rules, and I wish they would use it more often.
All right. Chris, thoughts? Do you like Tony Khan buying themes for the wrestlers, or themes being created? And what are, I don't know, a couple of your favorite themes, or 3 if you want to do it? Go ahead.
Sure.
Tony.
I mean, to Aaron's point, if it's the right theme for the right guy,
right.
I've Cult of Personality, great. You know, Tarzan Boy for Jungle Boy and the Jurassic Express, fantastic. Wild Thing for John Moxley.
I hate it. I hate it.
It doesn't fit. Yeah, it's just so right theme for the right guy. But other than that, like, again, to Aaron's point, AEW hasn't created any iconic theme musics for any of their artists. For me, you know, I mean, Jericho has his own theme song that you know what I mean, that he made that was already
built in.
Right. And
it's sort of baffling because it's like, dude, Jim Johnston is right there. He doesn't work for WWE anymore. Like, he's created all of them. The Undertaker, the $1 Million Man, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, he's right there. Hire him. Like, what are you waiting for? Or hire who are those NXT dudes? Something $sign that made Shinsuke's theme and Glorious and all that stuff. Like, those guys are around too. Like
the CFOs.
Yeah, there you go. CFO $sign. Let's go, Tony. Like, get somebody in there.
You're not wrong, because I think what Aaron says makes an excellent point. This idea of like, well, I haven't really caught on to the themes, but to me, it's a case-by-case basis, as you guys have mentioned. But also, I've been sometimes a theme sometimes grabs you during a wrestler's first match. Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I saw Sasha and I heard her theme, I was like, that's a banger theme. Like, I don't know if she can wrestle as she's coming down the ramp, but that's a banger theme. I've always enjoyed her theme. So sometimes the theme is essential to you getting over with the fans. And Shinsuke's theme, Sweet Mary Mother of God. And you could argue Finn Balor, the whole reason Finn Balor got to the next level, or one of the big reasons, is that theme song that's so interactive with the fans, creating their own celebration of it as well. What are your favorites, Chris, in terms of themes?
Whew. This is, I mean, you know, this is picking between children here. I've always, I'll give you an underrated one like Aaron did. Go ahead. I always loved Bam Bam Bigelow's.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was like moody. It fit in perfectly. Yeah, I don't know. It always got me going, man. It always got me going. As far as iconic, I mean, Ravishing Rick Rude. I just absolutely love that. I adored that theme. It, again, it just was such a shitty, like, heel theme music to have. Shawn Michaels singing his own theme song, fantastic touch, even though I do have a soft spot in my heart for the 92 Sherry version.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, there's so many. But, I mean, look, is there any that gets a crowd to pop harder than the glass breaking? No. There's just not one, right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Can I add? I'm sorry. Can I add one more? Like it just popped in my head. And I'm like, this theme is so fucking good that it, like, people when they hear it, they're like, oh yeah, Harlem Heat or Booker T's.
Oh yeah,
whatever. Oh my god! Every time it hits, I'm just like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I mean, for me, obviously, it's the standard, The Rock, Stone Cold, and even the game. Oh, fuck, man. I love the game thing.
That's a good one.
Anything gets me to lift weights more, it's the game. When that song comes on, I'm just like, if it happens to come on while I'm lifting, it's just like an extra few reps, man. It's great stuff. Love the DX theme song. Obviously, NWO. Obviously, Voodoo Child. But I thought about one that I've never, and I'm going to admit this for the first time ever, I haven't been the biggest fan of the early Savage one, like the
oh my god, what?
It never was my thing, but the one he did for WCW, the What Up Match, I fucking love that song. I can't explain it. I know it's simple, but I love it. It's so great. One of my favorite.
You need to explain it.
yeah.
You need to explain it. It's the classic themes to me are the best themes. Like, think of like Piper.
Yeah,
and Mr. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect is great. Oh my god, like, it's just everything hit. So even Earthquake with like the earthquake sound, and like Demolition. Here comes the axe, and here comes the smash. Like, it's and another one I thought of that just gives me chills even when I still hear it. That first Sting Crow theme. Because it was so different. You're like, what is this?
Yeah.
And then it's like, this slow brooding theme. And it's like, this is amazing. Such a departure from the Surfer Sting theme, which is also good.
Right.
So, and of course, Ric Flair, someone put that in there. Of course, Ric Flair, you can't really get away from that one. Just NWO Wolfpack, that's just classic. I heard that last night.
Even the Run DMC version of
also good. Yes,
good. That was the best part of that remixed CD.
Yeah, that remix CD is actually pretty good. So Chris Jericho's theme, Break the Walls Down, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Batista, Randy Orton.
Randy Orton,
there's a lot.
Everything ever from 1987 to 1996.
American Males, like it's all good. Kurt Angle's is good too. Taz.
Angle's is fucking great, and I love Shamrocks. I love
Shamrocks.
Oh my god,
Rob Van Dam's theme, one of a kind.
Taz too. Taz had a great fucking theme, and of course
Edge.
Edge. Oh yeah, Edge. Good stuff. All right, let's get off this goddamn thing. Move on to the next.
That's a good question.
Thank you, Efren. All right, what are we off to next here, Aaron?
All right, this is to me the weirdest story of the week. This is, of course, this is all allegedly, so everything is under the guise of allegability here, if that's even a word. Allegedly, WWE reached out to Jeff Hardy for a possible return to the company / Hall of Fame induction for this year. So if you guys recall, or don't recall, Jeff Hardy was released from WWE in early December after a series of odd events and reports and weird shit going on in the live show that no one knew what was happening. Then he was let go. Hardy allegedly passed his exit drug test, which allegedly WWE held for 6 weeks after his release. It's pretty weird. John Laurinaitis possibly reached out to Hardy for a return with the added bonus of a Hall of Fame induction. Jeff Hardy allegedly turned it down, said no thank you.
Wow.
He is still under non-compete until March 9th, 2022 of this year. So be a while before he can go anywhere. So what are your thoughts on Jeff Hardy here?
I think it's an odd story that they'd be like, hey, let's bring you back and then retire you and give you the Hall of Fame stuff. So, I mean, you talk about Shawn Michaels being Teflon. Hardy, you could argue, is just as Teflon in a different way because they always bring him back. They always want him back in the fold. They always give him a run. Even if the fans aren't happy with him winning a title or whatever, they always give him the opportunity to showcase and shine and do what he can do. So the fact that they wanted to bring him back, even though there were a lot of kind of suspicious circumstances around him being let go, I wondered what was the point of it. Do they want to just put him in the Hall of Fame so they don't have to keep bringing him back? Like, what is the logic here? It seems odd. But the other side of it, the more cynical side of it, is they were trying to prevent the Hardys from being able to market themselves as the Hardy Boys in AEW. And they've apparently booked some independent stuff together. So maybe they were trying to kind of kill that kind of momentum. But either way, it just seems like an odd decision to do that when a guy's not even done being an active wrestler. What do you think, Chris?
I think it has more to do with the return versus the Hall of Fame induction. Because from what I understand, it was a packaged offer, right? So I just think that there were a lot of things that Jeff wanted to do in that final run. I know that he wanted to bring back the Willow character. He had campaigned heavy to get his old theme song back, which they eventually relented to, but didn't even make a big deal out of it. It just appeared back all of a sudden. So there was a lot of things I know that he wanted to do and really do a proper final run because he had the opportunity to go to AEW early in the re-signing stage, and he just chose not to because he thought he had one last great WWE run, and you saw how they booked him. He's throwing piss on Sheamus and all kind of bonkers storylines. That, I mean, look, it's not worthy of a Jeff Hardy legacy. The guy was a huge single star, even more massive, tag team star. And so the clock is ticking. And if you're going to ride it out into the sunset, you want to do it with Matt. You want to do it as the Hardy Boys in where you're going to be appreciated and not used to get people over. So I think he was just like, I tried it, didn't work out. I'm going to go to AEW. Yeah.
What do you think there?
I think Chris Taylor in the chat nails it. Jeff Hardy sells the merch, pal.
Yeah.
Talk about a guy in the wrestling action figure business, they call it being toyetic. And if you go to these stores, if you go to your Walmarts and your Targets and whatever, you will see a ton of Jeff Hardy action figures because people love that guy. He's the different colors and the things that he does and jumping out of the building. Like, it doesn't matter how old Jeff Hardy gets, the fan base of Jeff Hardy somehow, some way continues to grow. Like, people that have not seen him before see him and they're like, whoa, that guy's like super cool. And he just seems like a good dude. Like, I've never been like a big Jeff Hardy fan, but he seems like a great dude. I don't blame him for this, especially after the weirdness with his drug test. Like, a lot of people thought that he was either drinking again or he was on drugs again. It turns out that probably wasn't the case, which is odd. And I'm sure that WWE is doing this for some sort of a PR thing because they're like, oh God, we got rid of this guy and this could be a possible PR nightmare for us because he's one of our legends. And I think that's probably where it came from. They technically, do they need a Jeff Hardy? Probably not. You could slide somebody into that role that he was doing. So at the end of the day, as long as Jeff Hardy is like okay personally, it's whatever.
Right. Fair enough. All right. Let's see. And someone put it in the chat here from Brapon1. Rumor has it that Hardy was supposed to win the Royal Rumble tonight, then challenge Roman for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Whether he would have won it or not is a different story. I don't think he would have won it, but they said, I don't think would that have gotten butts in seats? Hardy versus Roman Reigns? Do you think that would have worked?
No.
Yeah.
Not
I didn't think so either.
Reeks has a SmackDown only feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our next subject. But just a reminder here, the Streamlabs and Superchats are open. We got 75 of you watching us live. Thank you so much for joining us at our new time. Send in your Streamlabs Superchats. Send in your support. Show these gentlemen you appreciate their knowledge and their points of views as well. Let's jump into our next thing here, Aaron. What do we got?
All right. So, we like to bring you different kinds of stories here. This is a little bit of a departure from the usual wrestling talk.
Sure.
How about, do you guys like Peacock for the WWE Network? I don't think a lot of people do. I sure as hell don't. What about Disney Plus? Because WWE has struck a deal with Disney Plus to carry the WWE Network via their Hotstar service in Indonesia. This is the first partnership between WWE and Disney. This is something like, I know a lot of people are like, Indonesia, who cares? But the question becomes, like, is this the first sign that WWE may be moving away from Peacock or maybe doing this little merger deal?
Yeah.
Like that we've been kind of thinking this is all these releases are for and all this tightening of the ship. It's worth noting that it was announced this week in the news that Peacock streaming lost $1.7 billion in 2021. So, guys, with all the moving and shaking, is there a possibility down the line that this is not the only deal for WWE and Disney Plus?
Well, Chris, you like to work deals. You tell me, what does this signify to you as you're looking at it as a business guy and as a deals guy?
In several sacred texts, there are signs of the impending apocalypse. Seals are broken, trumpets are sounded, and if I was less of a more pragmatic man, I would think maybe this was it. I don't know. Look, it's all gonna be, success metrics. It's gonna be how well do they do? How much more revenue do they bring in for this service? Obviously, Disney has the money to buy out that deal with Peacock or even buy the WWE outright at some point if they want to. They're already trimming so much fat off of WWE's books to make it attractive to a potential buy. So yeah, it's just really going to see how it nets out. You know what I mean? WWE has worked so hard to make themselves a global brand and done so much to try to bring in other markets from overseas. And yeah, I mean, it just really looks like this is going to be like a wait and see situation, what the numbers do. And then it could really happen. And then I'm never, ever going to get to see my old ECW stuff because there's no way that's going to make its way on Disney.
Yeah, what do you think, Aaron? Is this a sign of the apocalypse, as Chris so eloquently points out here? Do we think I mean, already people have accused Marvel of, being Disneyified, especially as they see how rough and Peacemaker is in terms of the language and the situations. When they see how much more darker Joker was, people counter that by saying, hey, see, this is what you can get with this kind of comic book stuff, whereas Disney kind of makes it a little bit softer when you're looking at Marvel. What do you think this is the sign of Disney kind of maybe influencing where the WWE is going next? I mean, they've gone out of their comfort zone to bring people in who are not wrestling fans, who are not part of the business, to kind of influence the direction entertainment wise of the company. Is this the way they're going?
I mean, we've talked about it in the past. Like WWE now, it seems like the mentality is we're not, okay, you're a fan of the Rock and Roll Express. You want to be a wrestler? We don't want you. Like, we don't need you. Like, we want entertaining people. Like, we did this name, image, likeness thing. We're bringing in people that are not your traditional wrestling people, and we're teaching them how to be entertainers.
Yeah.
We're not necessarily teaching them how to be wrestlers. WWE doesn't call their wrestlers. They call them superstars.
Yeah.
That's what they call them. So they're not in the wrestling business. Vince McMahon has said that a million times. They are in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
It is World Wrestling Entertainment, but the E is apparent out there. So the fact that Disney could move on the WWE network, it gives me pause, like Chris said, because they've already started editing stuff on Peacock that's like, I don't know if that needed to be edited. So what are we going to do here? But look at it this way, like Disney has Marvel and Star Wars and the Fox movie database and all this stuff. Like, they control so much media that it would make sense that they would go after something like this. And if that does happen, you want to talk about a marketing push that would drown a company.
Yeah.
WWE and Disney, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That sounds like, even when Disney like acquired Marvel and stuff, it was like, whoa, that's a big deal. But like, I feel like this would really, really get people talking, because WWE's already on Fox.
Yeah.
So like, where do they move different parts of the show? It's just, it's wild, dude. Wild.
Yeah. To me, it makes sense. The direction they've been going in, trying to be more family friendly. One of my geek buddies, Michael Vogel, they were pitching him a WWE animated series that was going to be like a very PG, veering towards G approach to an animated series with all the people that you see on Raw and SmackDown. So, I mean, he reached out to me to ask like some technical advice on the whole approach to this thing. So that just keyed me into, this is the approach that they're taking. The John Cena approach: be as palatable, as nice as possible, go try to be able to appeal to numerous countries, numerous places, and as many demographics in the young area of demographics as possible. So you have a fan base that stays with you for generations to come. So I get the logic here, but I wonder if this is the right move in the end, and how fans are going to rebel against this in the long run as their product gets a bit neutered or homogenized. That could be a real issue going forward. Pro wrestling is not a place that will fully succeed, in my opinion, with a homogenized product. People don't come to this thing to go like, I need to feel good and comfy and warm. And no, I want to see crazy stunts like Sammy Guevara doing shit off the top of a ladder. That's what people want to see overall. So I don't know, going this way, the soft, safe route, just makes me worried. I think Chris might be right. Some seals are getting broken here that we do not want to see getting broken. All right, let's see. We got a Streamlab or Super Chat that came through. Chris Taylor says, I still think NBC Universal would get WWE. Do you guys think that as well, or not?
I mean, does Dick Ebersol still work for NBC?
I don't think so.
Yeah, if that was a thing, then maybe. I know the dude's got a great relationship with Vince McMahon, but
True.
I mean, I think Vince McMahon is, at this point, who's the highest bidder?
Yeah, right, exactly.
I think this is all hypothetical, right? Like Murderanta in the chat even says that Hotstar has other sports rights already in Indonesia and India, and it's bundled with Disney Plus there, so it makes sense for those countries, but not others.
Yeah.
So maybe it is nothing, but I thought it'd be a fun thing to talk about and like kind of throw it out there, like Disney Plus. Like, I got to go to Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian, and now I'll watch the Royal Rumble. So
right. Well,
it's crazy, dude. Like all these different platforms, like things people don't realize, like even Amazon, is in, like, they have the streaming business. They've got, the NFL as this person has mentioned. But they also are getting into pharmacy. So it's like,
oh yeah,
it's crazy, dude, what all these places are getting into. So everybody wants a piece of the pie in different ways, in unconventional ways. Amazon started out as a fucking bookstore.
Yeah.
And now it's like a conglomerate of everything. So
gotta have multiple revenue streams, man.
Yeah,
Master P figured this out years ago, and everyone's been following suit ever since. All right, Aaron, where are we off to next, my man?
All right, so we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. We're actually going to get to some actual wrestling that happened this week. So I'll read some results and then we can discuss it. Sammy Guevara defeated Cody Rhodes in a ladder match to win the undisputed TNT championship. Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. We can talk about that in a second. Yeah. Wardlow beat up some local talent in a handicap match. Looked good. Chris Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz defeated 2.0 and Daniel Garcia. Layla Hirsch defeated Red Velvet in women's action. Whoa. MJF and CM Punk continued their war of words, and then CM Punk got beat down by everybody in the Pinnacle. And Orange Cassidy defeated Adam Cole in a lights out match. But the big story this week, you saw the thumbnail. He's very nice, but he's also very evil. Love that Danhausen. Danhausen has debuted in AEW and may or may not have cursed Adam Cole.
What? All right. Go ahead. No, talk about this, Aaron. Tell people about Danhausen, because I'm on the don't know that much about Danhausen place. So you let me know. What does this mean? What is this all about?
Love that Danhausen, man. Danhausen is an enigma because he's this guy that he just came up with this gimmick. He's like, I'm going to be like almost like a Svengoolie type character. There he is. Like he's going to do his face paint. He's going to do his stuff, and he's going to live the gimmick. Like very rarely do you see the real man, Donovan Danhausen, his real name, outside of gimmick. Like he just does it, and it just works. Like I'm not a fan of like comedy wrestling and stuff like that. I hate shit like that. Yeah, but I love Danhausen because Danhausen, like, despite his theatrics and his collection of human teeth, Danhausen uses it to make legit sense. Mm-hmm. Like he uses teeth in matches because you've already got teeth in your head, so you can't really get disqualified for using other teeth. So that's pretty fun. Right. And he just seems like he's there. He has a specific purpose. He's in wrestling to work a gimmick, make big money, and then be done. And I love that about him. So I don't think I've seen 5 Danhausen wrestling matches, but I love this guy. I love Danhausen. Give Danhausen everything. I love it.
Yeah, good question for Will McLean, and get your thoughts on this, Chris, as well. How long was Danhausen under the ring? I know it's a great question, Will. But Chris, what did you think about Danhausen appear? Did you think this was a perfect way to bring him into AEW? And are you thinking he's going to be a good fit here with the company?
It really depends on how much energy and attention they give to it. I mean, it's one of those things where when the Broken Hardy stuff started in Impact, it was like, what the hell is going on? I don't understand. I'm not sure if I like this at all. I'm confused. I'm upset, yet I'm entertained. But they ran with it. They completely ran with it, gave it all the time and attention and care that it needed, and it became the biggest thing in wrestling. And now I'm not sure if Danhausen creatively is on that level that Matt Hardy was at the time. However, he fits a very specific niche in the wrestling world, and it translates really well beyond just the gimmick stuff. Like it when he does have matches, it actually really works. A lot of the ways that Orange Cassidy can at certain times. So I think it's going to be all about that. But I don't know, man. He has that inner like charisma and talent to just always get over in a way that like Matt Cardona does. You know what I mean? Like no matter what situation he's in, he always figures it out. So I think it's a great signing for them. because I mean, as over as Cassidy is, that's kind of starting to run its course a little bit for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's like this is a great something to fit that need, sort of.
Yeah, and ironic that, or probably on purpose, obviously, maybe they sense the same thing here, Chris, and so had him come out in the middle of an Orange Cassidy match to kind of take that spot a little bit. This buildup between Adam Cole and Orange Cassidy, the whole promos on the beach, that whole nine, I was like, okay, this is going to be a cool match. And then throwing Danhausen in, that speaks volumes that they really wanted to, highlight this guy to give him his own moment in the middle of this highly publicized match to see what the reaction was going to be from the fans. And certainly they started chanting his name within seconds of him coming out. And damn, if he didn't make the most of it with his actions, we just saw the picture there, all of his movements. And then he just kind of walked off, high-fived the fans and rolled on back to the back and let the match continue with Orange Cassidy getting the W. So interesting approach. I don't know much about the guy. Zeno Hour said he was a Bryan Danielson type wrestler that didn't get much traction in the Indies until creating this character. It's a great story, and that can happen. Look, we've said numerous times, Becky Lynch was heading into straight to DVD pile, and then out of nowhere, they gave her that push, turned her heel, and she exploded. So you never know what it is that you change that all of a sudden makes you huge or makes you big. You just never know. You got to find it, and luckily for him, at least, he has found it, and we'll see how they make it work. But this is yet another show to bring to AEW, and there's a lot that is going on with AEW right now. And I just wonder, as Chris mentioned earlier, if they're going to put the right amount of attention and the right amount of booking that works for Danhausen to get him over. Aaron, do you have any concerns right now? We have so many people premiering in AEW now over the last few weeks, and maybe even more to come over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I am kind of afraid that he may get lost in the shuffle. That is true. But I got to tell you this about Danhausen. Like, of all people that love the Danhausen gimmick, who's a big fan of Danhausen?
Who's that?
Jim Cornette.
Of course he is.
That cantankerous man, Jim Cornette, is a Danhausen fan.
I love face paint. I love everything about this guy.
Now, he will tell you that he has never watched a Danhausen match and never will because he doesn't want to ruin it. So he's a big fan. But my thing with Orange Cassidy, like you may need to hit the gimmick button here, Rocha, because it may be hot take time. There it is.
Oh, hey, there it is. Thank you.
I hate Orange Cassidy. I've always hated Orange Cassidy. I don't like the gimmick. It's definitely run its course.
Yeah.
Why do we keep putting him in these feuds with like Chris Jericho where he wins the feud?
Yeah.
And then nothing happens. And it's like John Travolta in that GIF. It's like, okay. And then he fucking beats Adam Cole in the main event of Dynamite. Like, are you insane?
First time Cole's lost too. Yeah.
Are you insane? Like, I don't subscribe to this. Like, Adam Cole has fallen off the face of the earth in terms of like he went from the NXT champion to AEW. Now they don't know how to use him. I don't subscribe to that. But damn, man, it's hard to make that argument now when he's doing stuff like this. Like, I fucking hated it that he couldn't get out of a hug to be Orange Cassidy. Hated all of it.
Yeah. What'd you think, Chris?
I hated that spot, but I don't know, man. I think that the Cassidy train is slowing down. I don't think it's necessarily stopped yet. I mean, the guy is still dumb over with the AEW.
He is. I'll give you that.
And that is like, and so he's kind of hit that sort of spot. They do it in WWE all the time where it's like, well, he's over. We don't need to elevate him up the card or do anything interesting with him. The fans still love him. So, and I think to your point, John, that's kind of a byproduct of having so much going on in your company.
There's only so many feuds to go around, Chris.
Certainly. And I think that's also why Adam Cole had to lose, even though it was a lights out match. It doesn't go against his record. There's a lot of streaks going on in AEW about who's undefeated. And, Jade is undefeated and Hook is undefeated. Like there's a lot of streaks we need to pay attention to. So, yeah, I mean, Adam Cole can take some losses. He's got the prestige. He's got the esteem. He's not going to lose any heat based on it. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think they need to do is really figure out kind of what WCW wanted to do with Nitro and Thunder, and where it was like Nitro was going to be the NWO show, and what Thunder was supposed to be like traditional WCW show. And I think they need to kind of figure that out, like who's going to be the star of these prospective shows, Dynamite and Rampage. WWE even tried to do it where it's like The Rock was going to be the star of SmackDown and Austin was going to hold down Raw. Like, they need to figure that mix out. And then back to your original question, John, I think that there's a whole lot of people coming in, but also we're finally starting to see people cycle out of AEW. You know, Peter Avalon is gone, and Big Swole is gone, and a lot of people who were there at the beginning, but they didn't do much with, and they're letting their contracts run out and letting them, go do their thing. Yeah,
I mean, Scorpio Sky was watching that match between, sorry, yeah, exactly, and I was like, Scorpio Sky? In my mind, I'm like, I haven't even factored him into my brain in months.
And all of a sudden, guy, man.
And Shivani's like, oh, he's looking on with vested interest. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about, because everyone's watching these guys, and that's moving forward into the future. Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes, that was a hell of a match. And no one was thinking about Scorpio Sky. So it just, it seems like you said, Chris, either they're cycling out of the contract, or the attention fans are giving them is cycling out and they're not getting as big of a push. So it just seems weird.
I'm a big Scorpio Sky fan.
Okay.
And I really thought, and this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever said on this show, maybe, but when Scorpio Sky when they weren't tagged, when he just broken from SCU, and he got that title shot against Jericho.
Right. Yes.
I was like, holy shit. Scorpio Sky, cut a good promo on Jericho. And I was like, this guy's got the look.
Yep.
He's got the athleticism. You could really build behind Scorpio Sky. And then, they just didn't give a shit. They gave him, he won that, brass ring ladder match and got the TNT title shot against Cody, which he lost. So surprise, surprise. But, I don't know where they dropped the ball with him. Somehow he went from having this amazing charisma against Chris Jericho to nothing. Yeah. Him and Ego Page together, especially with Dan Lambert, this Men of the Year stuff is not working. Mm-hmm. And no one gives a shit about Scorpio Sky anymore. No offense to him. I still like him. I think he's too far gone. I think he's going to be a guy that quietly is
he's AEW's Ricochet. He's the Ricochet. He's gone. It's not, you don't even think about him anymore.
Ricochet gets TV time though.
Not fair. The bottom line, I mean, look, Ric Flair once said that the reason that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat isn't his greatest wrestler of all time is because he never worked heel and probably couldn't have worked heel. Right. Not everybody needs to be heel. Scorpio against Jericho was the baby face. His offense is very baby face. It's designed to get the crowd to pop with all the high flying stuff. Not everybody can pull that off. So when they turned him evil and was, to your point, paired him with Dan Lambert, who it's look, man, we just want to see Jim Cornette. We don't need someone doing a version of Jim Cornette. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Either do it and embrace the heat that's coming if you bring that man into your company, or don't do it. You can't. This made up version, it doesn't work. So it was just two very bad decisions with him, and sometimes that's enough to totally derail the train.
Yeah, I mean, I get that they were trying to give Scorpio a little bit of publicity or a little bit of a shot or look here in the middle of this great match to get people to think about him again, but it seemed to me like a distraction. Get away from, I want to watch the match, instead of making me excited like I was when Danhausen came out from under the ring, which was so awesome. So Aaron, where should we talk about this match? Let's get into this match.
Let's talk about that TNT title match, man. Yeah. We started off Rampage with a banger, and the thing about, again, this show that John and I both said, and I'm sure Chris can agree, Sammy Guevara is just one of those guys that I didn't know what the potential of this guy was. Right. And then I see him, and every time I see him, he's I don't give a shit. I'm just giving it all. I'll just give you everything I got. Mm-hmm. I will die on that mat. And I thought him and Cody told a really good story. That cutter from ladder to ladder was incredible. Amazing. But then again, we do the spot where we drape Cody across the ladder, and then we jump off a bigger ladder, and I'm like, too much, but I'll take it. I thought it was excellent. like I said earlier, Meltzer gave it 5 stars. Whatever, that's up to you if you agree with that system.
Right.
I thought it was really great. I thought it made Sammy look good. I don't know what the point of Cody beating Sammy 2 weeks ago for the TNT title even fucking was at this point, but I'm glad that Sammy won and retained the title.
Yeah, Chris, it feels like sometimes AEW is still figuring it out. Like you think you want to give them credit that they've already achieved in a way WWE level, not in terms of obviously money and necessarily a corporate attention, but certainly in terms of the quality and the product. And then as Aaron pointed out, they have, for some reason, Cody beat Sammy for the title, and then Sammy win 2 weeks later. The WWE occasionally makes those mistakes, but here it still feels like AEW is kind of figuring out what direction they want to go in. Like, let Cody win. Let's see how the fans react. Oh, they hated it. Great. We'll give Sammy back the title. That being said, though, this match was effing amazing. Just effing amazing. And I don't know, that spot, I like that spot because he did something with it. Whereas Jeff Hardy does his thing, he actually went to the crowd and said, I'm crazy, did his whole thing, and then did it. I thought that was awesome. That being said, that spot could have broken his fucking back because that ladder didn't shatter. And yeah, I thought for sure, like, he had hurt himself seriously. So I don't know if the ladder was supposed to snap, but either way, that was a dangerous fucking move to be doing at that time. What do you think of this whole match overall, Chris? And in my opinion, I think Sammy just started to move next level in what he was able to deliver here with a veteran like Cody.
Dude, I mean, look, the first time I saw Sammy Guevara, he was a replacement wrestler for a match against Joey Janela at a Pro Wrestling Guerrilla show, PWG.
Wow.
And I didn't know who he was. And by the end of the match, I was like, who the fuck was that? Who was that young dude that he tore it completely up, stuff I had never seen before. They did that indie spot where Joey was sitting in a chair and they did a sunset flip and the chair landed perfectly that they haven't done on TV yet. And it was unbelievable. And so I've been a huge Sammy Guevara fan since then. And dude, I knew once the inner circle thing sort of started to trail off that he was going to be a breakout. Yeah. And I mean, the proof is just in the pudding. The kid is incredible. And like you said, just takes chances that aren't that well advised. I mean, I appreciate the shout out to the Shawn Michaels SummerSlam spot of like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? And then makes the jump. But I can't say anything but good things about him and this match. Cody can just work with anybody.
That's a good point.
Whereas as confusing as his current situation is in AEW, and I think that's what kind of played into the finish more than anything. It's like Cody's apparently on a handshake deal with them right now, even though he's still an EVP, but he doesn't have a performer contract. They're talking about he might be in the Rumble tonight.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, yeah, well, we can't have him be a champion right now, so we got to, make this shuffle. So I think that played more into it than anything. But, I mean, outstanding match. Do I think it's better than things like, Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania that didn't get 5 stars? Like, Meltzer, get your hand your ass. But like, it was fantastic. Probably the best Dynamite match ever.
Wow, maybe.
Yeah, you might be right. Right.
Something else, this is why I love wrestling Twitter, because it's amazing. I saw this back and forth between two people, and they were talking about like Sammy Guevara's cutter was like the most amazing ladder spot in the history of the business and shit like that. And then somebody had said, somebody responded to that saying, yeah, Randy Orton, you'd never see Randy Orton do something like that. And then someone responded on top of that, which was the best thing I've ever heard in my fucking life, that said, yeah, Randy Orton's also in his mid-40s and still at the top of his game. And I don't know if Sammy Guevara could say the same if he's doing fucking cutters off a 15-foot ladder every night. So yeah. I think Randy Orton's doing just fine. I love stuff like that. And it's just like Chris said, I think the first time I saw Sammy was in Lucha Underground when he was in there for just a little bit. And I've always been kind of amazed with him. It looks like we're getting that inner circle stuff phased out. Jericho and Proud and Powerful are seeming to be splitting apart, which is great because Santana Ortiz need to get away from that.
Yes.
So it looks like and they've been together for 3 years. They've been together since the first episode of Dynamite. So It's time. Sammy is like the perfect mid-card champion for you to have, even though they don't like to call it a mid-card title. It's a mid-card title. And also, again, for the second week in a row, the TNT title is defended on TBS, and the TBS title is defended on TNT. It's fucking confusing. Stop it.
Fair enough. All right. Well, let's get into some other parts of this. The Layla Hirsch Red Velvet match. I think Red Velvet is closer to getting to where she needs to be. I'm seeing Alicia Fox vibes when I see her wrestle. Layla Hirsch still looks too green sometimes in some of those spots. So we're seeing these women on the rise. Hopefully getting more ring time is going to get them better. But I saw a bunch of blown spots during that match that were just, and the rhythm of it all was confusing. And then they would fall on top of each other trying to do these moves. So there's a lot of work to be done there. Love Santana and Ortiz breaking away from Jericho. Like, enough already. Break them out. And I will say that I enjoyed the MJF CM Punk back and forth. That was fucking fantastic. You were a fan of mine, pal. That's what I tell people all the time. I'm not watching you. You're watching me. I love that approach to it. It's brilliant. What stood out for you guys from the rest of the Dynamite stuff?
I mean, it's tough when, you know, it's tough when that's the main event. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay. I mean, Layla Hirsch, the look is great. The intensity is great. You're right. She's still a green bean. Even though sometimes I like a bit of a sloppy match because it shows that it's not, cooperating. It's not a work. It looks more like a fight, but still a botch is a botch is a botch is a botch. And you can, when you see it, it's not great. Red Velvet. Yeah, she's progressing. Not a whole lot of elite stuff on this episode. Like, are they the main event act in the company, or are they not? I feel like they aren't sure sometimes. This episode was just a very much something you said earlier in the episode, John. They're still figuring it out. They're really still figuring out pacing, where to put certain segments. Sometimes they give away the biggest match of the card at the very beginning, which you should use sparingly, I think.
Right.
The rest of the episode was just very, very mid for me. I did love the Punk MJF stuff. My favorite touch of that feud is that they still haven't touched each other necessarily.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it hasn't been like them punching each other out or doing moves to each other, which is fantastic. Why is Britt Baker not in a feud? I don't understand.
Unbelievable, dude.
Great point.
Yeah, she cuts a promo and then it just ends. There's no one who comes out. There's no build to anything else. Why are they still keeping her apart from Thunder Rosa for our big return bout? I don't know.
Thank you.
It's just several things that I'm just like, we're very confusing about the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Well, why is your world champion doing video promos? Why isn't he on the fucking show? Like, doing something?
Certainly.
Like, even if it's like an in-ring interview where Lance, like, he gets the better of Archer, like, do something. Like, I feel like I haven't seen Hangman in weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's, even though I have, it's just like, what the hell? But like,
since he beat Danielson, it's been kind of a quiet.
And I hate that for him because Hangman Page is so talented, but it feels like we're going to drop the ball here. And I don't like that. I don't like that for Hangman. I don't like that for the company. I do want to mention the Layla Hirsch Red Velvet thing. My issue with that is, I know that Layla Hirsch is an MMA person. I get that. She cannot be 5 feet. There's no fucking way. She can't be 5 feet.
Yeah, I agree.
So to see her, and the thing with Red Velvet is too, like, I was watching the match and like Red Velvet, like every move she would do, she'd like do a pose. Like, it just came like super easy to her. She's like, ha, I did that. And then she would go fuck something up. And I'm like, stop posing and get in, like, stay on her and like, let's make this kind of believable. But then, like, even after the match, like Layla Hirsch, like going heel, which is great for her. Like, it adds a new dimension. She's going to feud with Chris Statlander, who's like way bigger than her. And it doesn't even look kind of convincing.
Right.
And it's so funny that JR, like, even JR shit on it because like Statlander was chasing Hirsch up the ramp and Statlander just stopped at the bottom. And JR was like, I don't know why in wrestling there seems to be this invisible wall at the bottom of the ramp that nobody can get through, but why didn't she go after her? I was like, oh, JR just doesn't give a shit. I love it. So
the quiet part out loud there, JR.
Yeah, exactly. So that's ridiculous. MJF and Punk are supposed to get to like do something next week, but I think it's going to end in like a count out. Like MJF's like, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
And also, one more thing. Why the fuck does AEW run Chicago like every other week? Like, I feel like every other week they're in Chicago. It's like, hey, we're in Minneapolis, we're in Chicago, and next week we're in Chicago. Wait, what? It's not. I'm probably like overstating that, but like I feel like every week they're like, we're making our return to Chicago. Like, we were there last week. What the hell?
They're trying to make that that's their New York for WWE. That's their Philly for ECW. Like Chicago is AEW country.
But should it be Jacksonville where they're actually based out of?
No one wants to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, no.
Byron Leftwich wants to go to Jacksonville. Byron Leftwich wants to go to Jacksonville.
Oh, Lord.
By God.
Yeah, that worked out great.
Shout out to Byron Leftwich, possible new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was in, I went to Florida State for 3 years and to get my degree, and Jacksonville was not a place you wanted to drive to.
It's a shithole.
It is a shithole. No offense. No offense.
No offense. It's a shithole.
There are a number of cities there. Just like, woof, man. Yeah. But so, yeah, I think that's why Chicago just carries that prestige. Plus, if you're going to be the rebellious a company that's against the big guys, you go to Second City, you go to Chicago, that has always carried that chip on its shoulder towards LA and New York. While you're watching New York and LA battle with each other, thinking they're the big kids, you're the young kid right behind them, just waiting for your shot to knock them both out because you hate them both. So it makes sense for AEW to set themselves up there in that way. So we'll see.
Your biggest star doesn't need to travel that much.
That's true.
That's it. That's probably the biggest thing of why they're doing it.
That's a great point. Xavier Black Wiley, speaking of feuds for Brick Baker, says, "Where's Ruby Soho?
Who cares?
Oh, stop it! Stop it!
Wait a minute. Okay, I noticed this before.
Yeah,
I'm new to the program here, but is there a Ruby Soho slander campaign?
Yes, Aaron Turner does not like Ruby Soho, which drives
what
me
the hell, dude?
I think she's boring.
Oh,
I think that the thing is tired. I think, and there are reports. I don't know if it's true, but there are rumors out there that she's not very happy with AEW because she was brought in as this big thing and just fed to Britt Baker. And then just fed to Jade, and now they don't have anything for her. So it's like,
well, I think that's the issue.
I was right all along, guys.
Here's the problem. I think that she gets the Natalia booking where it's like, oh, she's really good, but we'd rather you put other people over as opposed to do anything with you, And I think that, Kurt Hennig got that booking a lot.
Ziggler.
A lot of people did. X-Pac did, even though the term X-Pac, I had a big thing about that on my old podcast. We won't get into that. But it's just, and it kind of sucks for her because, it's not like, I don't think we've ever gotten to see what she can really do in a major company. I think that she was that centerpiece of the Riot Squad, but it was more of a vehicle to get the other two over. With this experienced person. So it's just like, give her something and let her run with it, man. Instead of just, like you said, just don't just feed her to people so that she can get a good match out of them.
This is not a bad idea. Put Ruby in the House of Black. I like that idea. That seems to make sense.
Do you want to put her in another group, though? Because she will get overshadowed.
Well, if it keeps her on TV and it keeps her getting involved in matches and has a little pedigree and maybe even turns her a little heel, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. If you're going to turn Britt face in some way, although you're not doing it anytime soon with the stuff with Adam Cole, but you never know. And so to me, it's a way to keep yourself at least on TV and doing stuff. There's nothing wrong with that in my opinion. So I'm a little, I love Ruby. I don't know why.
I think there's a super chat. I think there's a super chat before.
Okay.
Xavier's.
Oh yeah. From Roberto Arsenault. It says, do you think the Punk MJF match ends fairly next week? Fuck no. Can they keep the feud going till early March? That's when their pay-per-view takes place.
You have to.
You cannot give this away on free TV. You absolutely cannot. Absolutely cannot. So it's going to happen at Revolution in March in Orlando. That'll be fun.
That's why they had them all beat him up this time around, so that when he shows up next week is a little damaged. But how close are we to the Wardlow turning on MJF and the crew clock? Like, are we almost to the 12? Where are we at on that clock? Because I think Wardlow could turn on them next week. I think that's how that match kind of goes down, where it looks like he's going to win, but Wardlow then all of a sudden has a conscious or change of conscience and gets involved here and saves Punk from losing and makes it a DQ disqualification. What do you think happens here with them, Chris?
It seems like they brought the Wardlow MJF thing to a low simmer this week. They turned the burner down a little bit, and it was just like, we teased it. We teased it. Okay, we got you excited, but just chill out. Because I mean, it seems predictable that that's how they end the MJF Punk thing, by having Wardlow side with Punk, and then both sides are protected. But also, it's the right thing to do, because you don't want anybody to get, less over as the result of this feud. It's been entertaining to watch. Hopefully the match is just as, great as advertised. And then, you move on into Wardlow MJF without any, wilt coming off of the rose of either guy. So, I think that you probably save it to the pay-per-view.
I think it's a tough line to walk, right? Because, I mean, if MJF loses to Punk, then there's a little bit of shine off of MJF, and then he's going to go right into a feud with Wardlow. And if Wardlow ends up winning that feud, what have you done to MJF? Like, I'm concerned about that approach here. He's got to win one of these programs. He can't lose them both. I feel like you start to undercut him as a heel if he can't even win the matches when he's wrestling, less than 10 matches a year. To make him lose two of those programs, I think could be dangerous for his status as a heel, even though he seems untouchable right now.
Oh, I know how you booked it. Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry. He can. I mean, it'll work. Like Chris said, they kind of dipped it to a simmer this week. Yeah. Wardlow's going to kill Shawn Spears first. That seems like the way that they're going. And then it's funny that you said Doomsday Rocha, like the Doomsday Clock, because that's what his name is, right? Like Mr. Doomsday or whatever Wardlow's nickname is. So like the Doomsday Clock is moving. It seems like I kind of get this weird feeling that MJF is going to beat Punk. And then he's going to be like, I don't need any of you motherfuckers. I don't need you, Wardlow. I don't need any. And then Wardlow kills him. Because Wardlow is the second most impressive killing machine in AEW next to Hook. So, Send Hook. So that's could be where you go with it to keep it strong. Like MJF beats CM Punk, which, I mean, let's be honest, like nothing comes off CM Punk with a loss like that. True. Everything goes to MJF, and then he gets in a feud with Wardlow, which in turn boosts Wardlow up because he kills MJF. MJF takes some time off, possibly, comes back even better than ever, gets in a feud with Bryan Danielson or somebody else. So there you go.
Hangman Page, maybe.
I like your idea better, Aaron. I had one in my head where it was like, Punk sort of, MJF wins this initial feud, then later, or like kind of cheats his way out of it with the Pinnacle guys, and then when eventually his inevitable title run happens, that's when Wardlow finally steps up to that level.
That could be it.
I like what you're doing much better.
Look, I'm no t-shirt aficionado like my friend here, Chris Burns. He's got taste. Some people have it, they know, but I love Shawn Spears. I mean, talk about just swing it. That is a brilliant.
Yes, you are thing. Correct, sir.
When he came out in that shirt, and I was like, oh, genius. That's how you take it and just tweak it a little bit, and it works, so I love
now
that.
We need Cesaro to come in and have them feud about who's the real king of swing. Boom. Book it.
I love
Book it, Tony.
That would be great. Why do you hate it, Aaron? Come on.
Shawn Spears has sold 2 of those shirts. one to himself and one to his wife, and maybe she didn't even buy one. Maybe his mom. I don't know. Wow. But there's a reason that when Shawn Spears initially unveiled that t-shirt on Twitter and said, this is my new design, he turned the comments off because he knew what the fuck was going to happen. Because you ain't The Rock, pal. Okay, you're not even close.
Well, that's what you're a heel. You're supposed to be.
I don't care. You're not even on the level, brother. Like, I get that Shawn Spears, he has his fans. I get it, but to me, again, hot take: Shawn Spears peaked in NXT when he headlined against Bobby Roode for the NXT championship. That was peak Ty Dillinger, Shawn Spears. It goes no higher. He's already hit the ceiling. I'm sorry.
Really?
Great teacher. Him and Tyler Breeze, great school in Florida with flatbacks, but nope, not for me. Don't care.
I mean, look, Shawn Spears has a very Al Snow thing about him where it's like the head gimmick was over. People are chanting the head. I was at the Rumble when he came out at number 10 and everybody lost their mind.
Yeah.
And everyone's chanting the 10s and then it took over the indie scene. But yeah, Sans gimmick, he's a good hand.
Fair enough.
But it's a great shirt. It's a great
shirt. Come on.
Did you buy one?
No. Well, because I'm on a t-shirt. No, it's only because I'm on a t-shirt buying limit.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, I have 2 shelves full of shirts. I have to get rid of it.
I love it. I'm not gonna buy it.
It takes a lot for me to buy a modern shirt.
That's fair. That's fair, actually.
I just got this one off TeePublic, the Savage one, which is fucking awesome. So, MJF CM Punk is from Xavier Black Wiley says, MJF CM Punk, let's get on with it. Dr. Baker, give her something. Dr. Britt Baker, give her something to do. Thunder Rosa, give her more TV time. It's time to give the Acclaimed the tag team belts. Why more flash than Jurassic Park? And fans love them. Gentlemen, thoughts on this?
The Acclaimed have figured it out as an act. I mean, at first, when it first started and it was like, what in the 2003 are we doing with a battle rap gimmick? But dude, they're awesome. They are awesome and they make it work. And, shit. I don't know why I'm blanking on their names right now, but like initially
Max Caster and Anthony Bowens.
Yeah, at last I thought Caster was going to be the obvious breakout at first, but no, man, like his partner has definitely stepped up, and the double team and stuff that they had going on with what Moxley this week was, they're good. They're freaking good. I don't think it's time to give them the belts yet. I definitely think Santana and Ortiz need a run before them.
Yes,
it could be a great feud at some point. But yeah, give them more time. Definitely give them more time.
Aaron,
I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound like, of course, you're gonna lump them together. They're both black, but like they remind me of when they first put Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins together, because initially it was like, okay, what the fuck is this? And then they got so popular.
Oh, you mean Street Profits?
The Street Profits, because Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins work so good together. And it fucking works. And it works every time because Montez Ford's the guy who can jump out of the building. They got that classic Heart Foundation thing where it's like you got the good, like the great hand in Montez Ford. You got the big bruiser in Angelo Dawkins. It works. Yeah. And I think the same thing happened with these two, with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. I don't know what AEW thought they had in them initially. They're probably like, well, they're a good tag team. We can just kind of use them as fodder for other teams. And then they're like, holy shit, they're actually really good. And they're getting over and they keep getting better. Yeah. The thing is, I need to see more Max Caster. I see Anthony Bowens wrestle all the fucking time and he's good, but he always loses. Yeah. And I don't like that. So I need to see more Max Caster in there. But the thing I also like Anthony Bowens, a gay man, a proud gay man, is getting this over, and like, it could go so wrong in so many ways because us wrestling fans, I will lump myself in, they're not adapt to things like this. Like, oh, well, there's a gay man. Well, he, this or that. Like we're not accepting of the gays, which is terrible. But Anthony Bowens, just how can you not love this guy? Like there's just so much good with Anthony Bowens. Max Caster with the battle rap, like it just every time it hits. You got to follow Max on Twitter. He does Freestyle Fridays where he basically rips into everybody, and it's amazing. Wow. So it's just, I think they're great. I think the only way to go for them is up, and I could see them being tag team champions within the next year for sure.
Fair enough. Xavier Black West, Black Wrestling Twitter is watching you, Aaron. So just letting you know.
What were you going to
say? I said what I said. Said what I said.
What are you going to say, Chris?
No, yeah, Black Twitter. I got the DM last week. We're definitely watching you, Aaron.
Pending approval.
I got closer to the screen when you said something about black wrestlers being lumped together. But no, you're 100% right. Love Anthony. I used to run this thing on the past podcast called the Angelo Dawkins annual other guy tournament where I can vote on who was the best other guy in the tag team. Might bring it back.
Please, that's genius. I love it
for this show. But yeah, they're doing the rare, LOD thing where there isn't a breakout guy. They're just as good as one another. They complement each other greatly. And yeah, if you guys want it bad enough, we could definitely run that tournament again this year.
I'm down with that. How come I don't get my invite to the Black Twitter? I host the goddamn show, Clarissa.
Pending approval.
Hired a black man. I feel like I should be allowed to be.
Okay, all right. Relax, John. Okay, I'll put you under advisement.
Please,
all right.
Please keep
Angelo Dawkins. I think he's the second longest tenured NXT person that there ever was. Wow. I think Aaliyah is the longest, and now she's on the main roster. So yeah, shout out to Angelo Dawkins. I mean, she is on the main roster. She has her own T-shirt, guys. You should buy it.
Sure.
Aaliyah 317. You should buy it.
Yikes. Yeah. That one you're okay with. All right.
No, I'm not, actually. It's terrible.
I was going to say.
But let's move on.
All right, let's keep going. First of all, Haskell, you're a white man. You don't get to bring that up, son. I'm a man of color. You don't get to bring that up. So keep it down over there. All right, let's move on to our next thing. Let's go on to
what is happening. All right, so we're moving on to the Royal Rumble. It's tonight. It's on Saturday. It's no longer a pay-per-view, guys. It's a premium event on the Peacock.
The new change?
Yeah, that's the new change. So we'll do some predictions on the matches, and then of course we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble itself, because I think this is probably the most interesting Royal Rumble we've had, or Rumbles that we're going to have in a long time. So we'll start it off here. We'll just go round table. Rocha, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Sure.
We got Beth Phoenix and Edge in a mixed tag team match versus one of my favorite couples in the entire world, the power couple, the A-listers, The Miz and his lovely wife, Maurice.
How long are we going to take this feud? That's my question. Because if we're ending it here, then obviously Beth and Edge win this. But if we're taking it to WrestleMania, possibly, then in my mind, this is where Miz and Maurice win tonight. So I will. That's my prediction for this. If they're gonna end the feud tonight, it's Phoenix and Edge. If they're gonna go forward with this, then I think Miz and Maurice. And I'm leaning towards Miz and Maurice winning tonight because I mean, people love Maurice that she's back. Of course, they love that Phoenix is back, but she's been calling matches on NXT, so she hasn't really been away necessarily. She's been part of the company a lot more recently than Maurice. And I love when Maurice wins. Maurice is one of my favorite female heels. Hell, heels, period, regardless of gender, ever. She does it so well. It's so naturally in her wheelhouse that I love to see her get a chance. So if she gets a chance to have a couple of heel spots here that are devastating against Phoenix or even against Edge, I'm looking forward to seeing that. But I'm leaning towards that because I think they're going to stretch this out into WrestleMania. What do you think there, Chris?
I just hope. I mean, WWE will not do it. I'm just hoping for a backstage segment where Edge and Beth Phoenix are talking about how they're the strongest power couple, and then Lita walks by, and there's a super awkward moment. That's really all I hope that happens.
Ooh, wow!
But they won't do it. So, but look, I think they concussed Beth as part of the storyline. Yeah. I think they're going to kill Miz and Maurice tonight. I think that's just all that's going to happen. Okay. Which that's the kind of heel Miz is. He can get killed and he can cut a promo and you forgot about it. So
yeah. Aaron, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I also agree with what you said. I think Maurice is a very good heel. I don't, she's not a great wrestler in my opinion. But it works when it works. And I think that as a manager for the Miz, she's better served doing that. I think it's her accent, like the whole French thing is like, it just seems bitchy. But from everything I've ever heard about people dealing with Maurice at autograph signings or taking pictures in public, she's the exact opposite. I heard she's a real peach. So, but that being said, they're getting killed. They're going to get killed. And really? Edge and Beth Phoenix should win. I don't know if Edge and Miz is going to go to Mania. I feel like, and this is no offense to Miz, he's a 2-time Grand Slam champion, but I feel like we could do better for Edge. No offense.
Okay. I would love Lita to come in the match, Chris, in the match and cost them the match. That would be incredible.
What a twist of fate.
Edge.
Tommy Dreamer thing where he takes them both.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm
Little edgy.
hardcore.
Little edgy.
How dare you shit on Maurice's wrestling ability? God damn it. That's twice now this episode, Aaron. You're getting real close. Female wrestling Twitter is watching you. I'm just putting that out there. All right.
Okay, well,
What's our next one?
sorry about that. Ruby Soho's better if that makes you feel better. Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, versus Doudrop, who for some reason they haven't changed their name back to Piper Niven, but whatever. Yeah, we got this going on. Doudrop won a tournament, I believe, to get this title shot. Oh, French Twitter. Oh boy.
Oui.
Jean Kui. Rocha, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay.
Doudrop, Becky Lynch. What do you think?
Doudrop in an upset. I'm telling you, this would be so incredible.
What?
I'm telling you right now, if Doudrop, this is the place for Doudrop to win it, and then maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, Becky wins it back. But this could be a really incredible decision, totally out of the box, totally unexpected, to have it be Doudrop who beats Becky. And the wrestling marks will even love it because it means Becky agreed to drop the belt to an up-and-comer like Doudrop. It gives back to the business. It's a smart play. Will it happen? No, probably not. They don't want Becky to lose until she gets to WrestleMania. They want to set up the possible return of you-know-who to face her at WrestleMania. But in my opinion, I think this would be a brilliant time for Doudrop, who has taken so much shit for all the way they've booked her, to get into a position here to shock the world, win the belt, hold it for a couple of weeks, and then eventually losing it to Becky because Becky's pissed off that she lost the belt to her and comes out and just absolutely mauls her like Ali did to Leon Spinks in the rematch. That's what I would like to see happen here. But no, in the end, it'll probably be Becky Lynch.
I'd like to see what else is going on in that room with you, John, because you might be taking some substance that I don't know is approved. It might be a controlled situation going on there, because that is a hell of a take, my friend. I enjoy Doudrop's work. I'm with you, Aaron. Eva Marie was the reason that you changed your name to Doudrop. She's been out of the picture for weeks.
Yeah.
Why would you keep the name?
True.
Also, it's going to be an awkward match because aren't they both heels? Like,
I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's always an awkward situation. But no, of course, Becky's got to keep the belt. Like, what are we talking about? Unless you got like some serious plans for Doudrop in the next 2 months, which, come on, just sounds absurd. Like, let's just go on.
They let Nikki ASH beat Charlotte. Why wouldn't it be possible?
Because she had Money in the Bank. It was a different situation.
There's a thing going on.
Nikki ASS.
Yeah, and then there's something fishy about Charlotte being in the Rumble, you know, as the
champion. It's so weird. We
don't need distractions right now. That's just a distraction.
All right.
Becky all day.
I'm not going to hate on Charlotte being in the Rumble, because remember that Brock Lesnar Rumble from a couple of years ago? That was fucking awesome.
That was
when Brock Lesnar was a champion, just throwing motherfuckers out. But anyway,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that was so
dominant.
Good. John, this just in. Oh, getting news. John Rocha now head booker for NXT 2.0. So, yeah, no way in hell this is going to happen. When I know a lot of people are like, oh, I don't care about this match at all. I hear you.
Well, that's what I mean. Let her win.
I hear you, but I think it'll be interesting to see what Becky does against a bigger opponent. Like, Doudrop is a bigger opponent. Let's not sugarcoat that. Like, she's different than Charlotte. She has way more ability than somebody like Nia Jax. Like, Piper Niven is a good wrestler. So I want to see how Becky works with her, but eventually, Becky's going to win no matter what. But I just want to see how she works with an opponent like that.
Okay. A lot of people saying, seeing people in the chat saying the Becky's run is boring right now. Yeah, because they're not putting her up against these, you know, fucking great wrestlers that she can go toe to toe with. No offense to Liv Morgan, she's barely a decent wrestler. Doudrop's not that much better, so of course you're not going to let Becky shine right now because she's not facing Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair or Charlotte Flair or any of these top female wrestlers. So it's the job of the champion. You got to make it work with whoever is lined up next. And yeah, hopefully she can have a good match with Doudrop. And I trust Becky to have a good match with Doudrop. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And Doudrop might even deliver a good match herself, being inspired to step up to the plate. We shall see. But I know you can think I'm crazy. I'm just saying it would be interesting.
We need the goat back. We need Bailey.
Yes.
We need her back.
Is she ready?
We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll
Okay.
get there.
All right.
We'll
All
get
right.
there.
Go ahead.
Pin in it.
Sorry.
All right. So the next one is also like the Rumbles are interesting, but so are some of the matches. This one, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Now, Seth Rollins coming over from Raw. They have the history. He's beat Roman for the WWE Championship before, actually twice.
Yeah.
So he cashed his Money Bank at WrestleMania. He beat him again later on, which then Ambrose cashed his Money in the Bank and beat him when the Shield were all champions one night. That was awesome. So they've got the history. Is Rollins the guy to stop the Tribal Chief?
This is where you do it. This is the one.
Really?
There's precedent. Rollins is the 49ers to Aaron Rodgers. Can't quite get over that hump. This is what you want to do. And then it adds more intrigue into the dynamic between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, because then it's like now the roles have reversed. You're the guy chasing this thing, you know. I think that's just way more interesting. It keeps Rollins at the top of the card, and like I said, it keeps that storyline going of like I can't get over that hump. He's invincible to everyone else, and that's just not that's not entertaining. That's not intriguing. But it's just this one guy he can't beat, and Rollins is the one who beat Brock Lesnar clean. You know what I mean? That adds that wrinkle to it. So I think that's the right decision all day long. Do I think they're going to pull the trigger? I'm on the fence. I don't know, but
which was what makes it great.
Yeah, with exactly what makes it great. So I'm gonna, if we're making predictions, I'm gonna put my balls on the line and say, Seth Rollins for the win.
That segment last night on SmackDown was fantastic. Rollins coming in looking like the Joker, going after Reigns was incredible, and Reigns getting the better of him. Fantastic stuff, you know. And I usually think when the champ gets the better of the challenger before a match, they drop a belt. More often than not, that's what happens. But in this situation, I got a feeling that they're not going to let Rollins win the title because, like you said, he's beaten him twice. But when he beat him those last two times that he beat him, which was years ago, that was when Reigns was being kind of force-fed and they were trying to kind of figure out what to do with him. Now that he's ahead of the table, it's a whole nother ball game, man. And I got a feeling, because this isn't Jared Goff. This is Matt Stafford taking the Rams against the 49ers in a big game here. It's a different situation. You've got a quarterback with a veteran leadership and brains. Reigns now has made that ascension. So I think he does defeat Rollins and gets, using your analogy, Chris, I think he does get past the 49ers and retains that belt. And I don't know where that leaves us going into WrestleMania, but I think this is the decision tonight. What do you think, Aaron?
Which again is what makes it super interesting, because everything that happens from this match, I think, is a domino effect of what could happen in the whole night. So let's throw out a scenario where Roman Reigns gets beat by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is your Universal Champion. Roman Reigns enters the Royal Rumble now and fucking wins it. So there's that, and he could just challenge Rollins or Brock Lesnar if he wins, and something like that. So there's that scenario. If Seth Rollins loses to Roman Reigns, that also is interesting because, so if which also hinges on Brock winning. So it's like, do we continue that? Is it a unification bout? Is it just a battle of champions? If Seth Rollins wins, what happens to Reigns? If he challenges Lesnar, then does Seth Rollins go against Big E to get Big E that big spotlight? Or do we get like maybe him and Kevin Owens have a thing and maybe Kevin Owens gets that spot? I don't know, dude. Or is McIntyre going to be, because Drew McIntyre is going to be involved in this too.
They are pushing him big time, man.
So it's like there's a lot of stuff that can fall out here. I tend to think I'm going with a safe bet. I think Roman will retain because they've been pushing this thing where he's like, he's champion for 500 and so odd days. And I think they're just going to push it until WrestleMania. And then he will lose it to somebody.
Let me throw one out there because, Aaron, you made a great point. Fans are giving you some love in the chat for your booking here. If this match leads the night, I think Reigns loses. If this is the first match of the night, and I think what you said happens, he enters the Rumble, he's angry as fuck, he wins, still stays in a way ahead of the table, so he doesn't lose too much status by losing the belt, and now he's going after him. Like Chris said, he becomes the hunter, which I think is a great booking as well. So it could work out that way, which I think would be awesome, to be honest with you. So I'd be fine to be wrong if we go that route.
What if what if
Here we go.
they start the night with with Roman and Rollins. Brock interferes, Roman loses.
Oh,
Then Roman interferes in Lashley Lesnar. Lashley wins. Neither of them are the champion. They both go into the Rumble.
What if instead of that? Well, I mean that too. But what if that happens and they just do a straight up match, like no titles, like just a straight up match at WrestleMania.
Why not?
Listen, this is the fucking rubber match. We've done it for titles, blah blah blah. We've done it in Saudi. We've done it everywhere.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the final chapter. Reigns versus Lesnar, because we've seen it so many times. That's what makes this awesome. This is going to be an awesome show.
Put
already.
It in a flaming steel cage, for God's sakes.
Might as well.
All right, what's the next match, bud?
All right, so our next match is Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Again, a match that's like, what the hell could happen here? This is a match that I've said many times I've wanted to see for 15 years because for whatever reason, Lashley and Lesnar ships in the night just barely missed each other during those runs, and it makes sense because Lashley's a fucking massive giant and Brock Lesnar's a massive giant. They're both killing machines, and they both have great amateur backgrounds and accomplished. Brock Lesnar probably more of an accomplished MMA person, but Bobby did it too. So it's like it's big meaty men slapping meat. It's what I want. It's what Biggie wants. It's what the people want. I think Brock Lesnar retains, but I think it's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah. What do you think, Chris?
Bobby Lashley's black. He's going to lose. That's
no!
That is my prediction. Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. I've been wanting to see it for a long time too. But you know, it's what Brock does. He he beats brown people. He's going.
He really does. He really does.
I don't listen. First of all, I don't subscribe to that, but I think this is his first attempt at trying to take the belt off Brock. So I don't anticipate Lashley winning. They've got to drag this out in some way if they're gonna factor it into WrestleMania down the road. So I think Lesnar does win this and takes care of business, but it's going to be close. And I think it's going to be a better match than people are anticipating. People think it's going to be just a bunch of spots, big spots for each of them. I think this is actually going to be a lot more entertaining than people anticipate. Because sometimes, Aaron, big man slapping meat gets a little boring because it's a bunch of it's a big spot, then everyone lies on the ground for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Big spot, everyone lies on the ground for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be a faster moving match and more entertaining than people anticipate. Because I think Lesnar likes to move fast. He likes to work fast when he gets someone who can go as fast as he can. And I think Lashley can for sure.
But you also will see sometimes, like, again, going back to that Brock Lesnar Royal Rumble match, like when he got Keith Lee in there, like Brock was willing to do anything for Keith Lee because it worked. So I think what's going to happen. Here's a full circle moment. Here's some history for you.
Okay.
Remember Chris Masters?
Of course.
So
Masterlock.
Chris Adonis. Do you know who the first person to beat the Master Lock Challenge was? Bobby Lashley. Do you know who the first person to break the Hurt Lock, aka the Master Lock, is going to be? Brock fucking Lesnar.
Yeah.
So Bobby's going to put him in that Hurt Lock. Lesnar's going to get out of it. He's going to F5 immediately, and it's going to be a hell of a thing, and I'm going to love it. And I just think that, like you said, they can be boring. Like the UFC heavyweight division is in my opinion, one of the most exciting divisions because these guys hit so hard, but it also is the most boring division. So it could go either way, but I think this will be a banger match. Cannot wait for it.
Okay, fair enough. And as Haskell said, guys, send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats for some of your what ifs or what do you want to see tonight. We'll read them before the end of the show. I know we're running out of time, so we got to get to this stuff. It's because we spent all this time on theme music. We should have been focusing on the rundown. Let's move on to the next thing.
All right, the next thing on the rundown is the women's Royal Rumble match. Now we've already got like so many people, so we'll go through it. We got Rocha says here we've got 7 open spots left.
Yeah,
we got Sonya Deville, Naomi, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASS, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella, Shotzi, Natalya, Michelle McCool, Dana Brooke, of course Summer Rae is going to be in there, Carmella, Queen Zelina Vega, Impact Knockouts champion Mickie James, Tamina for some reason, Kelly, Aaliyah, Shayna Baszler, Lita, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, and maybe Sasha Banks, maybe not, who knows. So let me take this one first. Like, they bring back Sasha Banks yesterday, but I guess she's not cleared to wrestle. I don't fucking know. So why do you bring her back unless whatever? But this one could go a lot of ways.
Okay.
Do you do something pretty wild but pretty awesome and have Bianca win it 2 years in a row?
Oh, yeah.
And make her look really fucking strong, which she is. Do you lean with Rhea this year because they had her last year? I don't think so. Do you bring back Bayley to have Bayley win it? Because I feel like if you bring back Bayley, she's got to win it. I assume Asuka will be coming back in this, but I don't think she's going to win it because she won one before. Ronda Rousey has been rumored to be coming back to this. Does Ronda win it?
Yeah.
Or do they do something that I want them to do so badly and have someone that would win this that people would agree with, and it would be like this, finally break the fucking cycle here. Naomi wins the Royal Rumble. I think there are so many possible scenarios in this match that it makes it exciting. I'm in it. If I have to pick one, I can't. So it's like, if Bayley comes back, she's going to win. If Ronda comes back, she's going to win. If all that happens, I think that the two will cancel out each other, and we may get a Naomi. We may get a two-time Bianca. Who knows? I lean towards Naomi. That's who I want to win. So I'll go.
Okay. Dark Attack, what do you got?
Unless we're getting supremely worked by Bayley right now, she doesn't. In the videos of her working out, it doesn't look like she's ready to go. Her knee is still not like fully strong yet. Like I said, unless these are like old videos to make us think that she's not ready to go.
Right.
But they do weird stuff like that all the time. Like, people that you're like, well, why wasn't so-and-so in the Rumble? Why was the time they put Daniel Bryan in a return and then he gets tossed out so that Batista could win. Like, they make bonkers decisions with the Rumble all the time. I'd be hard pressed to bet against Ronda Rousey if she's in this thing. Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about? She made her debut at the Royal Rumble when I was there and it's her event. It's her time. If she's back, that shit's going down. I think Bianca will have a great showing against her at one point. I think the most they'll give Naomi tonight is that she'll throw Sonya over the top, or God forbid Sonya throws her over the top and this feud keeps going for no reason. They haven't told us why Sonya doesn't like Naomi for any reason. Like, what is going on?
It's very obvious at this point. She's very racist. It's very obvious.
That's all you have left. That's it. That's all you have left. And I just don't understand. So just stop in the feud. Please, God, in that feud. So Ronda's my pick if she's in it. Otherwise, I hope Bayley's working me because we want you back. We need you back. You carried the division for 2 years by yourself. Like, she's the GOAT. She's the greatest of all time, in my opinion.
And does Paige, throw that in there. Does Paige, does this happen finally?
Oh, right.
I'm hearing some things.
See, does this happen? And what do you do with her? Like, what the hell?
Hearing some things about Paige.
I'm sorry, Ro, before we get to you, I got to throw this in. My buddy asked me the other day, he said, do you think that Mickie James will come to the Rumble with the Impact title like they let her wear it on TV? Do you think they do? Because she's 100% going to. 100%.
I don't know. It depends, right? Because you're promoting another brand.
I think that's how they got her to appear.
Michael Jordan wore the thing over the brand at the Olympics, for God's sake.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's probably how they got her to come back. Like, okay, we want you to come back. She's like, okay, I'll do it. You can pay me, but I want to be known as the Knockouts champion. I want to wear the belt to the ring. They're probably like, okay, who gives a fuck? You're just going to get thrown out with Michelle McCool, so we don't care. But, like, I think that would be kind of fun to see the Knockouts title on WWE TV.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think Vince cares anymore.
Yeah. That's an interesting belt, pal.
Here's my outside the box prediction. Brett Bond has it. My outside the box prediction is Liv Morgan wins this thing because they still want to push her. They still want to make her something. Yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying I could see them doing it is all I'm saying, Aaron. I just could see them doing it, which would really infuriate me. But I wouldn't be surprised. For some reason, they see her as the next thing, and so they might give her a shot to get some pub this way. But I'm with Chris. If Bayley comes back, God damn it, please let Bayley come back so she can win this thing and go into the right situation she needs to be. I mean, ding dong, hello. I have missed her so much in the WWE, so it'd be great to have her back. But yes, if Ronda comes, nobody's beating Ronda, and so she's going to roll right through everybody. Unless in some messed up way they want to start some feud with her and Charlotte, which they keep claiming they're not going to do because she's going to the blue brand. So that's what we keep hearing. So that could be the way where they take each other out, or one takes the other one out and starts the feud there. So you don't necessarily set up Ronda to go for the belt, because from what I'm reading here on WrestleLink, like supposedly it's a 1-year deal. So why are you rushing her into the championship already? Maybe you take a little bit of time here, let her fight Charlotte, and then get to Becky at some point down the road. I don't know. But yeah, that seems to be the ways that if Ronda comes back, she's going to win this thing. But we shall see. And the Paige thing, fuck, I would love to see Paige. That would be incredible to see Paige. And no one's mentioning Mandy Rose. Does Mandy Rose get a shot in here as the NXT champion? So. Is she one of the 7 that rolls up in here?
I don't think so. But okay. Someone mentioned Raquel Gonzalez too. Like she'll probably be in it, and she'll probably have a big spot because I think they're going to bring Raquel up. Also, Io Shirai and Dakota Kai work dark matches on SmackDown.
Ooh.
So look for Io to probably be in it. I think she's been in one before.
Okay.
So that's not really surprising. Someone else said something.
Does Toni Storm come back? She's still under contract. Okay.
Stop hurting my feelings.
Does Alexa Bliss eliminate someone?
Yes. Alexa Bliss.
Telepathy tonight.
Does she eliminate fucking everybody at once? Does that happen?
I think I said it 2 episodes ago.
You did.
Just do it. Just do it. 15 people in the ring. She comes in there and they all jump. They jump themselves out of the ring, and she just sits down. You might as well at this point. Give us the big payoff. She's spooky and has powers. Go nuts.
You might as well go all in. You might as well go all in. Stellar Dustin Lopez says, I get Becky and Ronda's money, but Bianca still didn't get her redemption over Becky from SummerSlam. Ronda's makeup artist is booked for Rumble and Raw. So
what? Is this where we're getting our info now? What the fuck?
You never know.
I don't like reading the dirt sheets when it comes to like Rumble season. Like, otherwise, I don't care. Like rumors are fun, but like I've like tried to stay far away from all of this. Like I don't want to know like who's going to be in it. I just want to be surprised. So stop ruining it for me, everybody.
Fair enough.
God.
You don't want to know about Ivory's return to the Royal Rumble?
I would actually like to see that.
Hearing some
That'd be
things.
great.
Wasn't she in the Rumble like a few years ago?
She was.
I popped hard last year for Victoria. I wish that was actually in front of fans. I love
Molly Holly was my biggest.
Molly Holly, great. By the way, like a side note, WWE on their YouTube channel right now is just constantly running Royal Rumbles on a live stream. So yeah, I've been checking that out.
Yeah, I mean, keep watching us though, and then go watch us.
Oh, yes, of course.
Xavier Black, well, he says Sasha Banks and Naomi wins the Royal Rumble. I mean, I would love to see Naomi. Don't get me wrong. Me saying no to it isn't because I didn't want to see it. It's more that I just don't believe WWE would do it.
Yeah.
For the reasons Chris mentioned earlier that she's black. Let's see. We've got a couple of Streamlabs that came from. Yeah, well, true. Justin Toner says, "Hi guys, my Roman predictions: Lashley over Lesnar via Screwjob, Roman over Seth, Becky over Dewdrop, Edge and Beth over Miz and Maurice, and Rumble winners is tougher. Women, I can see Bianca, Ripley, or Ronda Rousey if she returns. Men's, I have no idea.
Yeah,
maybe Big E.
I love that.
Yeah, we'll talk about the men's stuff in just a second. And then Tushka sent in a Streamlab as well. Theme songs make the talented fans pop on an intro. What type of music would you have as your intro music? Mine would be contemporary jazz, math, rock. So fans would be confused and say, "What the fuck?" Then their expectations of me are low. All right, let's answer that to end the show. Let's move on to the next, which is the men's Royal Rumble here. Aaron, what do we got?
Yeah, so the men's Royal Rumble, which is equally as crazy, unpredictable.
Yeah,
it looks like we have 5 superstars to be announced in this one. So far, we have Johnny Knoxville, Gag, Austin Theory, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Kofi, Sammy, Madcap Moss, Happy fucking Corbin, Kevin Owens, Omos, Ziggler, Rude, Randy Orton, Riddle, Otis, Chad Gable, Ricochet, Rick Boogs, Nakamura. So who are we leaving out here? Like possibly, of course, we talk about Roman Reigns possibly sliding in there.
Yeah.
I tend to think that if if we don't do this scenario with Roman Reigns, we just need a straight up winner. This could be the year of the phenomenal AJ Styles to win the Royal Rumble because it's believable. He's one of the best wrestlers in the entire world, and I would love that.
All right,
I'll go with AJ Styles.
Who you got there? Who do you got to win? And Chris, and who do you think might be showing up here in one of these 5 slots?
I actually heard some talk about early plans saying that AJ was a big contender to win this year.
Wow.
I've also heard that there might be some, as much as they dismissed it, there might be some men Impact stars in the Rumble this year.
What?
Woo, woo, woo.
No. It's so tough. This is one of the tougher ones to pick, I think, in recent memory. There's like all kinds of weird stuff around it, and when they broke the multiverse, bringing in Mickie James, the women's, it's all sorts of things. I know, one Mark Calloway has been spotted in St. Louis. Which would be absurd if he showed up.
Is there a Blue Lives Matter convention? Is that why well, his wife's competing in the women's, so
you gotta roll him out in that tub of ice with Kevin Hart.
Certainly. I think the right decision is Big E. I think that's the right thing to do. But the WWE thinking would probably be, one of those guys who I have just a strong suspicion that one of those guys is going to lose their world title and end up in the Rumble. That just feels like what they're going to do. So maybe both of them, to my fantasy booking point. But you know what? I'm still going to pick Big E. I'm still going to pick Big E. I just think that's the right thing to do. They should do it. He deserves it. His title run was forgettable at best. Have him win it. And who would I like to show up? Brian Danielson.
That would be something.
That's the one. You know what I mean? He left on good terms. AEW has kept him off TV since he lost to Hangman Page.
His wife is also in the women's one. Yeah.
The world will, everybody would go insane. I think they doth protest too hard, Dave Meltzer, about no AEW people are going to be in the Royal Rumble. So, perhaps.
I'm going to throw Braun Breaker as a possibility in there. And I'm going to throw Gunther in the possibility. I think that could be very interesting. See that the WWE doubling down on the name, shoving it in your face
right now.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
Gunther shows up, I'm going to start the loudest Walter chant that St. Louis has ever heard. That is my personal Dark Attack guarantee for this show. I will not stop until he is eliminated. So who's ever around me, I need your support. We need that whole place rocking the Walter chant. Let's do it.
Rocha, we need a Dark Attack guarantee soundbite.
Yeah. If you're there and you're doing it, Chris, you better record yourself and send it in. We will put it up on the
you need to hit the button. Hit the button.
Oh.
He needs a there it is.
There it is.
Okay, so there's that.
Nice.
So I also would like to see Big E win. I don't want to say that I don't. I love Big E. What if Lashley comes back in and wins?
Right.
We didn't really talk about that. I mean, that's something they could do
with the Hurt business. I think if outside Dark Horse, if Gunther gets in there, I would love to see Gunther win. That'd be so fucking fantastic.
I would have to go take a Gunther because I wouldn't give a shit because they fucking ruined him. It's over. It's over.
Wrestling's still great wrestler.
It's over, dude. It's fucking over. I'm sorry. It's over.
If we got through the American Badass, if we got through Hogan in the blue blazer outfit, if we got through all that shit, we can get through this, for God's sakes.
First of all, Mr. America and Hulk Hogan were never seen in the same place at the same time. So I don't know what
like the Giant Machine and Andre the Giant. Those aren't the same guy.
El Generico and Sami Zayn, they're not the same. So
ridiculous. Yeah, Cactus Jack is not Brother Love, is not Mankind or Mick Foley. Yeah, sure. But I agree with you guys. I think Big E should win it. Absolutely deserves to win it. It's going to be a hell of a run. And I don't see them. AJ's on the way out, man. I don't see them hanging anything on AJ. I just think this is the route for Big E, kind of make up for not getting him in the right, not giving him a good run with the belt as everyone was hoping to get. So yeah, that's the smarter move. All right. So as Tushka said here, what would be your intro music if you could do one, if you were to come out here before we wrap up the show?
I'd go the Homer Simpson route and play Why Can't We Be Friends by War.
That's good.
That's what we do. I don't want to fight. I'm not a trained wrestler. Let's shake it. Let's hug it out.
Aaron, what do you got?
I would like to think that, like, even though this is not my personality or who I am as a person, like, I would think that I'm some kind of great badass, and I would come out to Blood by Breaking Benjamin. So there you
go. Yeah. I read your suggestion, Tushka. Did you go to the bathroom? I said you would come out to contemporary jazz math rock. I get it.
What is that?
I have to be confused. And
what is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
As someone who has come out to theme music in the Schmodown, I would actually move over. The one song I came out to during a live event, I think it's the first live event, is Nas and Puffy doing "You Can Hate Me Now" or whatever he's calling himself now. That's the one I would come out to. I would cheat and come out to a song that's already been made. "You Can Hate Me Now" is my favorite, bar none, and I would love to come out to that. That would be fucking awesome. So there you go. All right. Well, let's wrap it up here. We are 2 hours, for God's sakes. Thank you so much for hanging out with us live. Aaron, we are going to be doing a live watch along tonight. Yes, we are doing a live watch along. We'll announce it, what the time is. It'll be on Twitch, on the Outlaw Nation Twitch channel, but we will be going live and doing the watch along. Chris is going to be there. So hopefully, if Chris has time, he can record.
We'll check in with him.
Yeah, check in with us. Send us something, and we'll play it during the Twitch watch along as well for people to know. You won't be able to watch the match on screen with us, obviously, because that's a copyright violation. But we will be watching together and reacting to what we're seeing. So if you want to join us, go to the Outlaw Nation Twitch channel tonight. Chris, thanks again, man, and let people know where you're at, where you're going, and what you got going on.
Yeah. I'm going to be at the Royal Rumble tonight, as you said. You can keep up with all my drunken activity on all the social media things. It's Chris_please. Where are my seats, Haskell? Really close to the ring. So just look for the hair. Look for the hair.
I love it. And the shirt. I love it. Absolutely. All right. And Aaron, where can they find you, brother man? Another fun show.
Chris hops the rail. Eliminates the Undertaker with a Maven-like dropkick. I can see it right now. You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner, where of course we will be talking Royal Rumble. I'll be watching Royal Rumbles all day. I'm thinking it'll be casual tonight, Rocha. So maybe like we'll drink some beer and I'll be on puppy duty, so I may have to run in and out. So we'll see.
Sweat it, man.
We'll see. Should be fun. Let's have a good time.
Some drinks myself. I've told the lady, do not come in the office for 4 hours. It
sounds abusive. I'm going to be honest.
No, fair enough. Might be abusive what we see. You can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram and on TikTok now and on Twitch, The Outlaw Nation. As I said, come and follow and subscribe there so you can watch and hang out with us tonight. Tomorrow, I'll be doing both the AFC and NFC watch-alongs on the Twitch channel, so hang out with me and we can watch the games together as we've done for the last couple of weekends, which has been a blast. For sure, going to drop the Boba Fett Episode 5 spoiler review later on in the channel around 1 p.m. PT or 2 p.m. PT with me, Vogel, and Laura Kelly joining us to talk about that awesome episode of The Mandalorian. And I might have a review for the after party coming tomorrow, this great new show on Apple TV that y'all need to start watching, which is a lot of fun for sure. All right, well, enjoy Royal Rumble tonight. Have a lot of fun. Tweet at us. Let us know your thoughts as we're going along. We'll be live tweeting as well throughout. So let us know what you thought about all the predictions and everything that happened there. And thanks again for joining us here. Thanks for all the Streamlabs and the Super Chats. Oh, we got one more real quick. Christian Rommel says it's kind of a long shot, but would a Josh Alexander or Moose or Matt Cardona be believable to pop up in the Rumble? Just saying WWE doesn't need men, but they were in desperate need of women. And Cody Rhodes just posted an IG story that he landed in St. Louis.
One of those names you mentioned,
yes,
I have heard is in the Royal Rumble tonight.
Ooh, there it is.
One of those names.
All right, Aaron.
I feel like I gotta make a quick run. I gotta make a quick run. I'll be right back.
Oh, we gotta get out of here. We gotta.
I know we're going off. I know we're going off here. Just hold on. It's important.
All right, fine. Okay, there he goes. We gotta go. All right, I hope we're not keeping you of anything, Chris. I know this went 2 hours. I was only hoping it would go 90 minutes.
Not at all, man. Royal Rumble time is my favorite pay-per-view, premium live event now of the year. It's great. What's your favorite Royal Rumble of all time?
Oh, it's got to be the Flair one.
92?
I mean, going from beginning to end, bro. As much as he may be out of public favor now, which I totally understand and respect and kind of agree with, that Rumble is just classic Rumble. So I love it.
Right. So I talked to the man last night. I met him last night. He wasn't drinking as much as he usually does at these things. He's always ready. I think he's going to be there.
Yeah.
I could see Matt Cardona showing up.
All right.
And with the fuck McFoley inscription, he could be at the Royal Rumble. It'll be fun.
All right. Fair enough. There you go. All right, let's get on out of here as Aaron's computer goes dead. All right, thanks everybody for watching us. Have yourselves a great Royal Rumble evening, and we'll talk to you next week with another brand new live episode of Strong Style. Peace until then.